You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 113. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Barnhart. I'm the man who makes men mad.
Wow. Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can check out our show, plus plenty of other cool podcasts like the all-new Anti-Fanboy, Feed It Comics, and Super Podcasto Magnifico at rhymeswithgeek.com. So, the first comic book we've got to talk about today, we're going to look at a couple of issues of Spider-Woman. Before we really get into the comic, I want to talk about the impetus for her creation at Marvel Comics. Okay, so you have to remember and for her and also another Marvel Comics character. In the 70s, you remember a couple of shows like the $6 Million Man,
Yes.
which had then a female spin-off, the Bionic Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then when the Incredible Hulk became a hit TV show,
Mm-hmm.
Marvel, to prevent a similar thing from happening, because the studio would then own that character if they spun off and created a She-Hulk of their own.
Yeah.
They created the She-Hulk so they could have a copyrighted, female version of the Hulk.
I'll be.
And Spider-Woman was created for the same reason, to prevent somebody from either creating an animation or other television, a Spider-Woman as a knockoff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. The She-Hulk was kind of a funny thing because it was tongue firmly in cheek from the ones I've read. And,
Yeah, well, I enjoy She-Hulk. She's great.
A big, green, good-looking lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's really... with a sassy mouth. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is interesting and kind of sad, too. And sort of...
A
lot of reasons for comic book. There's a atomic craze, meaning an atomic man or something.
right.
Always...
But here's the thing, necessity is the mother of invention.
Mm-hmm.
They did this to protect their copyright interests. However, they ended up creating two, dynamic characters that really do have long-lasting recognition and fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Woman has enjoyed a very nice resurgence in comics in the past few years. She kind of went away for a long time, and then they brought her back in the New Avengers, a series at Marvel, and she was great, better than ever actually.
Okay.
Her original series, which we're going to see a couple issues of today, it's just okay.
Yeah.
It's really nothing to write home about.
No.
But I love her costume, and I love the character Jessica Drew.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll notice it's not like she has the same powers as Spider-Man.
I noticed that.
She does, wall crawl, and that's about the only
She can fly.
She can fly, and she's got these bioelectric bites that she venom blasts. And doesn't have webs, but she also has this pheromone power that kind of makes people really attracted to her, and that becomes a problem for her, and with that is an issue that's in these stories. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's begin.
Yes. So Spider-Woman number 12 is called, or the leads. Not the lead story. It's a Marvel. There's only one story. It's The Last Tale of the Brothers Grimm, written by Mark Grunwald, penciled by Carmine Infantino, and inked by Bob McLeod. Now, it's just one of those, Carmine Infantino at Marvel?
Yeah.
And this is late Carmine Infantino, and I love his Silver Age stuff. I really am not a fan of his 70s and 80s work.
It's interesting, but
because everyone's style evolves over time, and what his style went into, the excesses of it or the flourishes that he does are no, the things that were that stood out and were nice touches in the Silver Age become over exaggerated things that you don't like in his 70s and 80s material. So.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. And Invasion of Body Snatchers, the movie.
That was an advertisement,
Yeah, and it holds up. You could have done this now. So. A
lot
of times they don't. This stuff looks dated, but looks pretty cool. So.
Oh, you're talking about the advertisement still looks good?
Well, the movies, and both movies are good.
Well, the 50s it was Cold War paranoia, and then the 70s version was this great talk about commercialism and are we losing ourselves in that. Dawn of the Dead is like that too,
right.
And I think they both came out 78, 77, same year.
Like that, yeah.
It's interesting what was on our minds and on our lips at that time.
Yeah, what a lousy decade.
Oh man!
So all right, we open up the book. I didn't know what I was looking at.
This is one of those you jump in and you're like, what the hell's going on? You're really lost. It's in the middle of a story, and we're off in goofball land. I can't even. I'm at a loss to even try to start explaining this.
Okay, Charles Magnus, which means Charles the Great.
Mm-hmm.
This is also Charlemagne.
Mm-hmm.
So, he is sleeping, and these dolls are coming up and telling him Jessica Drew's in trouble, and Jessica Drew as Spider-Woman is looking on above him.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of, I don't know, weird. So then Charles Magnus wakes up and it's all a dream. But
the dolls are there, and it's weird.
All right, so Charles Magnus was waking up by dolls. I hate when that happens.
I know, right?
Yeah. All right. Okay. So apparently the mystic aura he has animated dolls in his dreams, so it tells him that Jessica Drew is in trouble.
Okay.
So we get to the title page, The Last Tale of Brothers Grimm. Interesting, Brothers Grimm, all they were two krauts getting up these stories from Germany.
Right.
Which wasn't Germany at the time.
Right.
And they wrote it down. So now here
are these
they're villains,
right.
And in the TV show it's a hero.
Oh yeah, it's a stupid show. But
it's in Portland though, so
yeah. But it's interesting. My introduction to the Brothers Grimm characters was from a comic that came out about a decade after this.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
During Marvel had this event storyline, and now those things are tired and boring, but this was really cool. It was called The Acts of Vengeance, and basically it was all the major villains, like all the supervillains, basically got together and were fighting heroes that they wouldn't normally fight.
That sounds interesting. It
was a really fun storyline, and in it there was a whole bunch of villains fighting Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And two of them were the Brothers Grimm, and they were basically Green Goblin ripoffs. They were like just twin guys on the Goblin gliders.
Oh.
But it was them and Titania, Goliath, and Graviton, and
Titania's cool.
Yeah.
Graviton, I don't know.
Graviton is pretty. He's weird. Like he's such a slimy kind of almost foppish kind of creep character.
Oh,
but he's really powerful. Yeah. He seems ridiculous, but his powers are really intense. So
I'm interested.
Yeah.
Okay, so Charles Magnus goes to a theater and he finds that here's Spider-Woman and somebody. I never really figured out who he actually was. He's Mr. Hunt, and Jessica's I guess Aunt Charles's landlord, and her two sons.
Yeah, and the two sons are the Brothers Grimm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kind of. So her husband bought a doll.
Mm-hmm.
It gave him superpowers, and he made a lot of money. And then someone stole it. So he went and bought. He looked and he bought two other dolls, and he was going to put his
life force into it.
Yeah, something like that. But they forgot to tell him, don't do it with two dolls in the room. So, you're buying two things. Wouldn't you tell somebody that?
Yeah.
But I don't know. So his body is dead, but his soul or whatever is in the dolls.
And split between the two.
All right. So Charles Magnus knows magic, and the landlady. I don't know. Oh, this is so convoluted. It's going to turn Mr. Hunt and take his body and put her husband's body in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it.
Cool house ad for the Shogun Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
And this was
were they that big? They're towering over the city.
I think they were meant to be giant. It's a giant robot toy. It's a Japanese toy that was a short-lived comic. You know, this was a time of like toys getting adapted into comics was starting to be a thing. The Micronauts happened, ROM happened. Those were big successful comics. But Shogun Warriors and Crystar were other examples of ones that were like, they happened, but they were short-lived.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Okay.
That's a series I'd be curious to read just to, you know. I think Herb Trimpe drew it. So.
Okay, so Spider-Woman is tied up, and so is Mr. Hunt, who I never really figured out who he was. So I guess he's a friend of the family. I don't know.
Right.
So Spider-Woman's knocked out, and so is Mr. Hunt, and they are in a dream, and they're playing Little Red Riding Hood.
I like Jessica Drew as Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, and she goes into her grandmother's house. She meets Mr. Hunt is the lumberjack, and she goes into her grandma's house, and that's the landlady is there, and she turns into the wolf.
Yeah.
And they have a big fight. The lumberjack comes in, beats the crap out of the landlady, the wolf, and takes off the mask. And it's not the landlady, it's a wolf that takes off that mask. It's her son. One of her sons.
Yeah.
They have cool masks. I like those.
The Brothers Grimm costumes are really sweet. But you don't really see them like do any real fighting or anything in this.
Yeah, they shoot
they just
zap somebody, and that's about it.
But basically, they just stand around looking cool.
Yeah. Oh, here's Shogun Warriors again. Here's a house ad, and Micronauts.
Yeah.
It's just kind of interesting. I've read a few of those.
Yeah, I try to remember if we did Micronauts on the show or not.
I do not think so.
I don't think we did either. Okay. I think I was avoiding licensed properties like toy stuff, like, you know, but...
Is that what it's from?
Yeah, so it was another Japanese toy that became a comic. But anyway.
Okay. So, in real life, the Brothers Grimm take off their masks, and they're young punks. Although they got really good hair. They got 70s feathered hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they wanted Charles Maddox to come in here and perform the magic, which is kind of stupid. Hey, this guy, I'm going to force this guy to perform intricate magic and hold him with a gun. And, you don't know what he's doing. It's super complicated.
That's super easy for him to double-cross them, don't you think? Because clearly they don't have like a strong enough, understanding of magic.
Right. So they get in their pentagrams.
Yeah. Yes. This is fun for the whole family.
Indeed. So Spider-Woman is still she's chained by her wrist, but she can get around. She kicks the landlady's butt, and Power Man and Iron Fist. What a great! It looks like a movie poster.
Oh yeah, this is a great house ad, full page of Power Man and Iron Fist, and it's so funny because Power Man's title and Iron Fist's title, instead of getting canceled, they just put them together and made them a team.
Oh, okay.
But that works.
Yeah.
And that's a dynamic. People love that series. People love Luke Cage and Danny Rand together.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to read some of those. They sound interesting. Luke Cage is a cool character.
Yeah. I think we've looked at Luke Cage and we've looked at some Iron Fist, but never together. I'm sure we will eventually. I just got the Marvel Essentials Luke Cage and Iron Fist trade paperback.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll look at that at some point.
Okay. So they're fighting, and then the landlady brings out a gun and shoots Spider-Woman.
She just wings her.
Yes, wings her. Yeah.
That's good. I love Spider-Woman's costume, even though the way Carmine Infantino draws women is weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It's certainly tight-fitting. So,
yeah.
Hurrah. So he... somehow Charles Maddox is messing around with the spell, and he has Spider-Woman, even though she's wounded, pick up Mr. Hunt and out of his pentagram, and by doing so, kills Brothers Grimm. I don't understand, but we do have a Twinkie alert, and it's a new one to me.
All right, the Hulk. The Hulk changes his mind.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, huh? Humans follow Hulk here? You are just a boy. You're not big enough to bother Hulk. Why should I bother you? Let me give these goofballs some. What are they?
They're Hostess cupcakes.
Hostess cupcakes, and they leave Hulk alone, and Hulk is happy.
Yeah.
All right. That's a great story.
Yeah. I always love those. They're so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
even when they're bad, they're good. So we see the guys. This is what. Okay. Apparently, the boys were not the landlady's sons, but they were her husband's spirit.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and I don't really understand that. Why, or were they her sons and the spirit got into them, or were they?
They were never real. That they were his spirit in the dolls, made alive, and she treated them like they were her sons, but they were really, it's like her husband. Okay. Which is weird.
Oh, because I'm looking at their face and they are not real. Okay. Yeah. They're dolls. Huh. Good looking dolls, but
sure.
We should have noticed that before, though.
Right. It's weird.
Okay.
And the implications are kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And that's like the end of the story.
That's it. And it's it's confusing and yikes.
Yeah, and that's just I'm sorry, that's just not good comics.
Yeah.
I like Spider-Woman, but on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Now the other issue of Spider-Woman we have, it's quite a few issues later, but this is a much better one. I like this a lot better. It's Spider-Woman number 34.
Mm-hmm.
And the story is called The Wildfire Express, written by Steve Lealoha and Chris Claremont, penciled by Steve Lealoha, inked by Bruce Patterson and Al Milgrom.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
So we open with Spider-Woman fighting coming upon like a robbery or something committed by these guys who Hammer and Anvil, is that what they're called?
Yep.
And they're weird. They have super strength, but the source of their power is this cable that binds the two of them together at the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
So there's limitations to what they can do, and their mobility because of this.
But the cable is also useful
as a weapon.
Yeah, because they stop a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, it's pretty long. So
yeah, 20 feet maybe, 16.
Sure.
Yeah, and there's Salt and Pepper team up, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, a white guy and a black guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think these guys fought the Hulk before too.
Yeah, I would like to read that because actually I like them. They're kind of funny. They're interesting. It's
a weird idea.
Yeah, and they make it work.
And it's just weird enough to look cool in comics.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably be goofy in a movie, but I'll take it. So they're fighting Spider-Woman. She's not feeling well.
Right.
And
because I mentioned earlier, she's got that pheromone power that she's taking drugs to suppress.
Yeah, and it takes more because she has this passive ability of taking care of poisons, and I think that, and it also affects her taking medicine because the more she takes, the more
she needs.
Yeah.
Right. Her immunity to poisons kind of like nullifies the medicine she needs to neutralize her like pheromone she's trying to take care of, but it also makes her powers kind of act up. Mm-hmm. So I would just live with the pheromone, but and that's what she does now.
Yeah, because I don't know. I can see what would be annoying. Hey, I want to buy this toothbrush, and then you get hit on heavy,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Around, so.
Yeah, that's got to get annoying, but. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to be a superhero and you have all these other powers, and trying to suppress one power causes problems with your other ones, you're just going to have to deal,
Yeah.
But it creates an interesting dramatic element for Jessica, and I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. All right, so I like the way that the Salt and Pepper team, Arm and Hammer.
Arm and Hammer, yeah. Hammer and Anvil.
Yeah.
What are they committing a robbery or something?
they are kidnapping. They stop the Rolls Royce to kidnap the Sheridan, Grandma Sheridan.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, and they're punching out Spider-Woman, and one of them says, "Let's hear for women's lib, Blondie. They want to fight like men, and they can get punched out like men." The white guy's blonde.
Right.
So,
like, oh, man. But,
so he punches out, and, that's true. And if you're going to be a superheroine, you're going to have to be punched out by the bad guys. And
it's true. I mean, supervillains aren't going to be gentlemen.
Well,
most of them aren't.
Yeah, even if you were a gentleman, if someone's attacking you, you're not going to sit there and
Right.
And while you're committing a crime.
Yeah.
But especially they're superpowered.
Although I remember reading like a Fantastic Four where the Invisible Woman, talked about Dr. Doom's like, well, I don't have any doubt that he would kill a woman, but I don't think he would ever strike one.
Oh, that's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, Dr. Doom is cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to go live in his land.
Of course, I think he might backhand somebody. I can see Dr. Doom backhanding a woman.
Backhand slapper.
Well, because he's an aristocrat.
Right.
A self-made aristocrat.
Yeah.
So
she's still having trouble. The fight's going on. She's still having trouble. Arm and Hammer grabs the old lady.
Hammer and Anvil.
I'm saying that on purpose.
I know, but okay.
So it's easier to say for one thing. So they get on this
one extra syllable. It's so rough.
Yeah, but it sings.
It sings. Okay.
They get on this. It looks like a flying carpet almost, but it's a electronic gizmo, and or a car that can fly off with the old lady, and they leave her granddaughter alone. And luckily for everybody, except for the bad guys, they leave a ID card from this evil company DRC.
Okay.
So DRC wants to buy Sheridan Industries, and they're a big evil arms manufacturer.
Right.
So it was a cliche even then.
Okay.
So Sheridan Industries has a sad story. I think DRC killed her grandfather and trying to enslave him. So Spider-Man says, "I'll help you." So she calls, this one guy. What's his name?
Doesn't matter. It's like her friend or boss.
Scott McDowell, who fixes up the card, I guess. And then, you see... the other guy does. All right, so she knows a boy genius, and
then she just has a girlfriend who is cool.
Who is a Hollywood actress.
Right.
And, yeah. So, so she gets a card, so she goes for a job interview at the DRC. And she's taking these pills. Oh, I'm taking a lot of these pills. That's bad.
Right?
Yeah. So the girl picks her up, the actress, and drives her down there. And
Jessica...
I don't know why she needs someone to drive her down there. Why can't she leave her car there?
I don't know, man. Because every comic book character or title character has to have a supporting cast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're employing them. Her friend is being serving some minor element to the story. Okay.
Oh, and they find out there's a fire. A big fire going on, and they're in California, and there's.
So Jessica Incognito, with a fake name, goes for an interview at CDR or whatever it is.
Yeah, and there's this creepy guy who's, I guess he meets her, and the pheromones work on him, and he's hitting on her.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a low. The classic 70s thing
with the huge lapels and the open shirt, and
the hairy chest, and it's really creepy.
Yeah. So he's a slime ball, but Jessica, without...
Is he a slime ball because... No, he's a slime ball the way he dresses.
He was already a slime ball, but then Jessica's pheromone, kind of lowered his inhibitions.
Yeah.
So
she goes for the interview. They really like her, but then she says, okay, I'll think about it. She changes clothes and looks different.
And, she sneaks into the facility to, scope out the deal and find the old lady.
Yeah. I like... the facility is really hard to get into, and it's really well done how to get into it, and how she's thinking about it, and all the trouble she has.
I love these shots of Jessica going up the elevator shaft, crawling up the thing. Yeah, that's great.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And she comes in and fighting again, just tearing down doors, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then she gets fighting Hammer and Anvil.
Yeah. And they catch her in the middle with that cord. They clothesline her with it, and ouch, that's gotta be right. It's gotta hurt.
Yeah, and she kicks him out of 18-story building.
Yeah, and then some mandroids show up.
Yeah,
and those are people wearing robot suits. That's what mandroids are.
Mm-hmm. And there's two of them, so she's fighting one, and one of them, the other mandroids, destroys that mandroid she's fighting. And then the little old lady, Grandma Sheridan.
Yeah.
It's kind of her secret name. She goes as Ariadna Hyde. Ariadna is I think Greek or Latin for spider.
Yeah, that's something from Greek mythology.
Oh, I love this house ad
for subscriptions.
And Dr. Doom. Isn't it great to have Dr. Doom as your spokesperson?
Well, yeah, it's really great. Subscribe to 4 Marvel comics for the price of 3. So that's pretty cool.
I'd be a fool to argue with that logic. Then again, it may be a trap.
Right. But if you think about it, subscribe to 3 titles for a year and you get a 4th one for nothing, that's a really great deal.
Yeah, it is.
So, especially at this time when comics are probably 60 cents.
Yeah.
50 cents.
Oh, man, it'd be great today because they're $3 or $4 now. Or
I mean, you can get subscription services like Discount Comic Book Service, and you can, get 20 to 30% off, and you save more the more you subscribe to. So those things, there are ways to save if you need to have the physical copy. So
right.
And they have a sister site too that's just all trades, instocktrades.com, which is a good resource.
Oh.
So anyway,
okay. So they're running, and so they got mandroids after them. They're going into this big forest fire, and here comes Arm and Hammer again. So they're fighting. And
so they got super villainy on all sides and a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And Jessica's got to protect a little old lady.
Right. She's tough, but she's still... So Jessica grabs a hold of the cable between Hammer and Anvil, and she zaps with their venom strike. And it hurts her, but it hurts them more.
Yeah.
And then she takes it and swings their heads together, which is really cool.
And very satisfying.
Yeah, it is. They're great villains. I like them.
Yeah, and this issue is really showing what a great superhero and Spider-Woman really is.
Mm-hmm.
Very resourceful, very cool powers.
Yeah.
Very capable. I like her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She's a great feminist icon, really.
Yeah.
So strong, independent woman.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah. She should be wearing a power suit instead of what? No.
Power suit? Oh, you mean a pantsuit? Is that what you mean with the shoulder pads? Ugh, no thanks.
No. So back at Sheridan Industries, they're being taken over by DRC, and Spider-Woman bursts into
the boardroom with the little old lady who everyone presumed dead.
Yeah, and then there's this other guy who, for DRC, is told by the head of the company to shoot the Spider-Woman. And
she zaps him with a venom blast, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Which is, it's utterly ridiculous. That does not happen in business.
But it happens in comics.
Yeah, sure does.
Hey, Twinkie alert with Iron Man.
Yeah, it is, man.
Hey, this is a cool one. I don't think I'd seen this one before.
No, this is new to me, too. Yeah,
Hostess fruit pies, gotta love them.
Right. Bank robbery. So Iron Man says, "Oh, we'll send in fruit pies, fruit pies," and so the bad guys see the fruit pies and drop their guns, and Iron Man beats them up. Yay!
Well, it's like they're robbing in a bank, and they're holed up in a bank. Wouldn't you just try and escape and like get your own fruit pies with all the money?
Yeah.
You know.
Or maybe they're surrounded or something they could.
Yeah.
Like Dog Day Afternoon, that movie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, we should have never put down our weapons, but it could resist the real fruit filling and a light, tender crust. I love those. All right, so we have an after story.
It's an epilogue.
Epilogue, yeah.
That's what we call that.
Yeah, thank you. So her beautiful actress friend is wearing next to nothing bikini.
Yeah.
And talking, and here comes the screamer. This hippie dude with the cops, and he starts screaming and driving people crazy. And that's where I got
Jessica and her Hollywood friend are just hanging out at the beach after the mission, and then Angar the Screamer shows up. Let me give you a little background on this guy. He's a villain who started out in some 70s issue of Daredevil, and he was a hippie ex-rock singer who got superpowers, and the screaming causes people to hallucinate. Which is, hallucinating is not a good power if you're fighting a blind guy. So Daredevil, of course, kicked the crap out of him, but Angar the Screamer is a joke villain, but
you could, I mean, because
he could
Daredevil had scenes, had vision at one time, so he could hallucinate.
Sure. Well, and it could maybe mess with his radar sense, but I'm betting it didn't. Remember when we read that Daredevil story where he fought the chameleon, and like it was no big trick to beat him because Daredevil could totally, because he didn't see the disguise, so he just knew who he was.
Yeah.
So there's a full-page house ad for something of note here. It's the Captain Universe is appearing in Marvel Spotlight, and it's really great because Bill Mantlo wrote it, and Steve Ditko was writing it. And this is one of those, in the late 70s, marked the return of Steve Ditko to Marvel Comics. Yeah. He didn't do a ton of stuff, but it's just kind of nice to see one of the original classic guys back at the House of Ideas.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Captain Universe, the hero who could be you.
Because the Captain Universe is like a consciousness or whatever, or a power that travels from person to person. So random people will become Captain Universe.
Interesting.
Temporarily. Spider-Man got it for a time. So.
But there's Captain Universe. And there's two, he's surrounded by groups of people, and they're just regular Joes, and some good looking, some not so. The kids already look snarky. It's kind of just really pleasant to look at.
And it's an interesting concept, so yeah. So, overall, Spider-Woman, what do you think?
I liked the second one. That was pretty good. Her getting into the evil DRC was pretty... it was hard enough to make it interesting. And I was worried that she wouldn't be able to make it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
But it was okay. And her actress friend was kind of interesting. She's a party girl. And
but it's nice that Jessica has a good friend and confidant, and that's good. Although she doesn't know she's Spider-Woman. I'm sure you figured that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but let's talk about our next book. It's Strange Tales number 145, and the lead story is Lo, the Egg Shall Hatch.
Are you sure that wasn't laugh out loud?
But anyway, Jack Kirby plotted the story, and Stan Lee wrote the dialogue. And then art-wise, Kirby did the layouts, Don Hex did the pencils, and Mike Esposito inked. Yeah.
You see some Kirby influence, but it's not Kirby. But
well, right. It's Don Heck really drew this, but Kirby, all the stuff that's happening in the panels are basically laid out for Don Heck to just go and draw.
Right.
That's what it is when somebody does layouts. So it's kind of half Kirby. Yeah. But he plotted this, so it feels Kirby.
It's not... As so long as S.H.I.E.L.D. endures, who can forget these glory-drenched names? I love
The Marvel Comics credits. Oh, aren't they great? So the splash panel is, we see Nick Fury head with a robot brain being inserted, and of course this is a life model decoy, and there's a whole bunch of them.
At least 20 or so.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
So
I don't know. We had some banter between for crying out loud,
Fury and Dum Dum.
Yeah, Dum Dum. That's fun. Okay, the problem is this druid guy, which we saw months ago.
I know
but he had these eggs that are flying around, causing trouble. So, and they're trying to kill Fury. So they're going to make all these decoys. So the eggs will destroy them, and hopefully then capture an egg or follow it back.
Right. It's a good way to lure the druid into the open, and capture him. It's a good plan.
Yeah. And we got Sitwell, and Sitwell...
Jasper Sitwell. Oh, my gosh.
I'm kind of enjoy him now. He was irritating, but he's so anti Nick Fury, as
he's so square, but he's so gung-ho about being a shield agent.
And he's good.
He's really good, but he's just such a, wiener that you hate him and you like him,
Yeah. Well, I was annoyed by him, but he's kind of cool, and I don't know, he plays off well with everybody, and especially Dum Dum, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And Dum Dum insults him, but he doesn't
get it.
Yeah. Does he? Or
Dum Dum gives him a backhanded compliment, and he's really laying on the sarcasm, and it goes right past Sitwell, and he thinks he's being genuine.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny.
So it's kind of cool.
So I think an egg attacks S.H.I.E.L.D. anyway, or they go to
they attack. They start attacking the decoys, and it's not working because the eggs attack, destroy them, and go back home, and they can't catch them.
Yeah. So back at the druid's evil lair of evil.
Yeah.
He's a typical villain in his chair, surrounded by henchmen, and he's got the view screen watching all his misdoings play out.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. Where have we seen that before? Everywhere.
Yeah. He's okay. So he's got this plan. So he decides that the eggs are not working, and so he decides to fight Fury mano to mano.
Yeah. And so back at S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ, Fury is interrogating the Fixer, who was allied with the Druid, but they captured him.
Yeah, and he has no information.
Yeah.
So why even do this? This to show that they're trying everything.
Yeah, I guess.
Pretty cool.
Doesn't the Fixer kind of know something that helps?
Not really.
Okay.
Oh, I think he kind of tells them that they don't know. So that he doesn't know.
Right.
He would have seen this thing.
Right. Because the Fixer was a hired hand. He didn't have any real emotional investment in whatever the Druid was doing.
Okay. So all of a sudden, when they're talking to the Fixer, explosion. There was a
one of the eggs blows up out someplace,
and everyone's looking at it. And here's this arm materializes out of nothing and points to Fury.
Yeah, it's the Druid teleported or came through a portal or something.
No, he wrote the egg.
Oh, okay.
And the egg blew up, and he was invisible.
Ah, now he's visible, and he just wants to fight Fury.
He's visible because Nick Fury. Did anybody bring an infrared blaster? And Sitwell says, "I did, sir."
And so he zaps him, and then we can see the Druid. That's right.
Yeah.
How convenient.
Okay, so they get all. Nick Fury has a helicarrier and thousands of people working for him, and all these gizmos. The Druid has thousands of minions with all kinds of super complicated scientific gizmos as well.
Okay.
And they resort to fisticuffs, for crying out loud.
Well, it is comics.
Yeah, it is.
So Fury and the Druid start to fight, but the Druid has got he's a dirty bastard. He's coated his body with some sandpapery stuff that's really rough and abrasive, so it hurts Nick's fists. So Fury tears off his shirt and wraps it around his hands so that he can fight the guy without bloodying his knuckles.
Well, it's a Nick Fury agent S.H.I.E.L.D. story, so he's got to appear without a shirt.
Apparently.
I told this to my wife, and she was talking about the Spider-Woman cover
that had the butt shot, right?
Yeah.
Well, who cares? It's what do you expect,
Right, and I said, well, Nick Fury always gets his shirt off in each thing. He says, but why does that happen? And the girls read comics. I said, I guess so, and I guess, and she said, I guess some guys might like that too. So
yeah, but it's because he's a real He-Man, and taking off his shirt and fighting. Well, in the Howling Commandos, he always end up with his shirt off too.
Right. Yeah. And I know that Sergeant Rock, they fought in their underwear a couple of times.
Oh my gosh.
So it's kind of, what's going on?
I don't think I read that one, but okay.
Oh, 2 or 3 times.
Really? Okay.
So, Fury covers his hands with his shirt and he starts beating the crap out of the Druid. It's a pretty good fight.
It is a good fight. You figured the Druid would just be weak, but no, he's a good fighter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's got his helmet is like, it looks like the Fraternal Order of the Water Buffalo from the Flintstones.
Yeah. So Sitbo goes and gets a car with mines on it, and he shoots them off, and they get attacked by mechanical eggs or mechanized eggs.
Okay.
I didn't like these that much. I thought it just.
You gotta
have to be an egg for crying out loud.
Well, you think about the Druid pagan weirdness. I get the egg thing. I get it.
Yeah,
but
they took it too far.
Well, here's the thing. This other stuff, they got to give Sitwell and Dum Dum something to do instead of just standing there.
But get rid of the eggs. Just make them with tanks.
Okay.
And great. But not these with eggs with tracks on them and guns sticking out and walking legs. It's just goofy, and I'm not worried about Dum Dum blowing them up because I know he's going to.
Okay.
Oh, and they have these.
Shield
has cannons in the back of their trunks, invented by Tony Stark.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. So they're beating the crap out of the Druid people, and it's a pretty good battle.
Fury wins and beats them up.
Okay, almost went too far. But one of the great things someone said, they surrender and said, I wonder if we're eligible for unemployment insurance. That was funny. Because they get paid every month. I don't think you can get unemployment.
Is there a henchman's union, I wonder?
Yeah. There was a story I read about there's a henchman university or something like that. How did they get henchmen? It was kind of cool.
Oh my gosh.
And one of the guys says, I wonder where all these henchmen came from. And if they get paid every week, so these people here.
Yeah.
And but one thing, I don't think unemployment pays for illegal activities. 2, I don't think the Druid paid their government for the unemployment insurance.
Probably not.
Yeah, but that was fun.
I mean, if S.H.I.E.L.D. had to look for them, there's no way that they're like filing taxes and stuff.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Yeah. So
what if S.H.I.E.L.D. were like enforcers for the IRS?
Oh God. I don't think they can be any worse. Fury gloats over the Druid, who, I don't know, I expected him to look weirder.
The Druid, he looks like the young Charles Bronson.
Yeah. So Sitwell talks to him, and...
to Fury.
And Fury says, wow, could they replace me with Sitwell? Which would be a bad idea, because I don't think Sitwell's great, but I don't think he's a leader.
No, I mean, he just hasn't experienced life enough. You know? Like, he's got to be, Fury is a great leader because he's lived and experienced all this stuff, and he knows what works. He's not necessarily a by-the-book, red-tapey kind of guy, which is totally the way Sitwell is.
Right.
So not that Sitwell couldn't do it, but he wouldn't be half as good as Fury.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting, a little thing that they talked about. So that's one great thing about Marvel. That's a real thing. Am I going to be replaced by this guy? Because the higher-ups would like Sitwell better. Yeah,
I'm sure Fury causes them a lot of headaches sometimes. So, hey, want to talk about Doctor Strange?
Strangely, I do.
Okay. So this is kind of very close to the end of Ditko's run on the series. Ditko left Marvel in '66. So, yeah. Things are winding down for the old Doc Strange and Sturdy Steve. But the story here is called To Catch a Magician. Now, Ditko wrote the plot, and Denny O'Neil wrote the dialogue. This is kind of early in Denny's career.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the art is all by Ditko, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. There's this guy named Rasputin, who's, we find out later,
is a descendant of the real Rasputin.
Who is probably the only real supervillain ever in real life.
As far as an actual historical figure that you could say, oh, like, he lived like a supervillain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was super strong. I mean, the things they do to kill him.
Sure. And all the weird, like, mind games he played and power plays he did within the court of the czars.
Yeah.
You know, and all the carousing and weird stuff that he did. Like, yeah, Rasputin was like, he's a real life supervillain.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah.
So his descendant is, and there must be many of them because he got around.
Oh, he did.
He's going to these prime ministers' places and scaring them and getting information, and that's kind of cool. So he's getting, well, it's a cool evil plot, I guess.
Yeah.
So he's going to New York City to do some UN, and then Doctor Strange feels him. Disturbance in the Force. You know?
Right. He's looking through, not the Eye of Agamotto. Well, he's using it. Yeah, he is. The eye alerts him to the evil doing of Mr. Rasputin. And so, of course, they have a magic fighting duel.
Mm. I love it when the hands are surrounded by a globe of power or magic.
Yeah.
It looks so cool. I wouldn't mind did that. So,
yeah, I love that. That's the best way to draw magic, is you're doing the weird gestures and magic power is flowing around it. Mm-hmm. And the circular thing is really cool. Like, its power's starting from the hands and going out. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. And we see the Rasputin in spirit form, and it looks really cool. So.
Yeah. So in Doc Strange, he says, like, oh, if I hadn't recently fought like Dormammu or somebody, like, this would be no problem, but I'm kind of weak right now.
Right.
So, because Mr. Rasputin is kind of a...
yeah, he does illusions, that's about it.
Yeah, he's got some sorceress ability, but he's nowhere near Doctor Strange's level.
So Rasputin's getting his butt kicked. So what does he do? He brings out a gun and shoots Strange, which I love.
Yeah, it's a very Indiana Jones thing. Like, can't I just shoot him?
Yeah.
And he does. He shoots Doctor Strange, and so Doctor Strange has to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of cool.
And then two things. Doctor Strange is going to fight Mr. Rasputin in his astral form, while Rasputin sends an assassin to finish off Doctor Strange at the hospital.
That was cool. And I was actually worried about how they want to fix that.
Yeah.
You know, I was really, man, is he going to get shot? I don't know. And which is kind of odd, because usually I know what's going to happen. So this is really well done. I'm really pleased.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool that here's Doctor Strange has no alter ego, which is, I like that. I mean, I don't mind alter egos, but it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, and I think, especially the way you look at the way movies are going, the secret identity is a thing that's fading away. People are like, no, you can be that guy all the time. You don't need to like hide it and have it be a secret thing. We don't need to do those sitcom scenarios where you duck out a window and then you come back as yourself, and kind of
like that. But then it'd be impossible to do that. If you're, because people, there's so much photographs, and then people, would do some kind of program and see, oh, Clark Kent looks an awful lot like Superman. Isn't that interesting?
Exactly. Yeah, I think here's the difference between film and television. Television, you can do the secret identity because that's a thing you can do in an hour-long show every week.
Right.
But in the movies, like especially look at the Marvel movies, they've been smart to kind of move away from secret IDs.
When Iron Man said, Tony Stark said, "I am Iron Man," that was one of the greatest scenes ever.
Yeah, and then Thor, they did no alter ego. They're just like, nope, Thor. They did away with Don Blake.
Yeah, that's
Hulk. It's publicly known that Bruce Banner is the Hulk.
Mm-hmm. At least by the authorities. Anyway.
Yeah, don't think it's a big secret about Steve Rogers being Captain America.
Yeah, he does have to pretend to be a private in the army, going through basic training.
Oh yeah, but only in the first movie. Once he's resurrected.
Oh no! I'm saying that it doesn't do that now.
Yeah, and I'm so glad.
Yeah.
It just you can get it's cutting the crap and get to what it's really exciting.
Right. Although I enjoy,
and for something you have to wait 3 years for the next movie, that's a smart thing to do.
Right. In the Superman thing, in the first Superman, I thought it was done well.
Sure.
And it's kind of cute and just
yeah,
they really did that well. And that's
in Superman 2 they did it nicely.
Yeah.
But by 3 and 4 you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's really bad, especially in number 4. They do the dumb sitcom stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know that, it's like you look at the more recent Batman movies.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of people who find out he's Batman.
Yeah.
And it's not the greatest kept secret in Man of Steel that he's Superman.
Right.
And I just think it's like DC is slower to go this way, but I think this is the direction things are heading. It's like, I am the superhero and I am me, and there's not a difference, and we're not hiding it.
Right.
So.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyway.
So, the murderer comes to the hospital.
Yeah.
And he's pointing a gun and said, this is a problem with amateurs. They don't do it. The Rasputin didn't double tap him. So, you know what that is, right?
Oh, we had a guy to kill the assassin as well?
No.
Oh.
Use 2 shots. Make sure the guy's dead.
Rasputin left and let him go to the hospital in the first place. Why didn't he just...
Yeah, I don't want to use up all these other 5 bullets. Bullets cost 20 cents a piece, so I don't want to waste them.
Right.
He's going to die. They always do.
Right.
It's sort of...
well, that's why supervillains always end up going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
They think their plan was so great that they don't have to, make sure somebody's dead.
Right.
So,
okay. So, Stranger's astral projections going to the his old place because he has this idea. Oh, I bet Rasputin is in my path.
Right.
So he sends his
astral form
and his cloak.
Yeah.
And his cloak, and he makes it look like he's there, and it freaks out Rasputin. They fight, and he's about to get the cloak's about to get his butt kicked in astral projection, and so. He uses the eye and
the eye of Agamotto.
Yeah. And it kind of messes him up a little bit, and then the cloak can go fight him and freezes the life. No, it doesn't kill him, but it makes him unconscious.
Right. Rasputin.
Yeah. So, and then it brings it to the hospital room. And the guy, the amulet, Dr. Strange in the hospital room, prevents the bad guy from shooting.
Yeah, and then Mr. Rasputin shows up at the hospital too, and Dr. Strange casts a spell on them, making them confess all their past crimes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I was really on the edge of my seat. So how are they going to do this?
See, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So the last book we've got to talk about for this episode is Dagar the Invincible, number 7 from Gold Key Comics. We've been kind of doing it. We've done a bunch of Dagar now, and I think we have a couple more that we'll still do. But the story this time is called 2 Swords Against Zora Zal, written by Don Glutt, art by Jesse Santos. They did the whole series. So
yeah. I don't think people use hyphens enough in their first name.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
There's hyphenated last names, which should be.
Zora Zal is hyphenated. So
right.
Okay.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. So what's going on with Dagar?
Okay, Dagar goes fishing, and it can only happen to Dagar. When he goes fishing, he gets attacked by pirates and or raiders, I think. So they're not pirates; they're working for Zora Zal.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. He puts up a good fight, being Dagar, but it's taken away in a ship.
Mm-hmm.
And he's made a galley slave. Poor Dagar.
Yeah.
He meets up with this other guy.
Oh yeah, Durak.
Durak.
Now, Durak, this is the introduction to this character. Mm-hmm. He will, show up again in this series. I should say for starters. And also, he gets his own series as a backup in the occult files of Dr. Spectre.
It's kind of cool. He's a devil-may-care character. He likes adventure for its own sake.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a different kind of barbarian than Dagar.
He's a suave, devil-may-care character.
He's kind of swashbuckly, and Dagar isn't. So
yeah, and Dagar is kind of direct. Give me money, I'll kill people. That's about it. Okay,
that's the trouble with Dagar. He's not likable, like at all.
No, he's not. But he's not even unlikable in an interesting way.
Right.
Or unlikable in a likable way. He's just kind of one-note a-hole.
That about sums it up.
Yeah. So we see Zorazal. She's all decked out in her finery.
She's a beautiful babe, but she's evil.
Yeah, too bad. So they go to the island of Queen Zorazal. And she's building this huge tower. And I guess it's like Tower of Babel. Which we will see next week.
Will we?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Or next issue. Or
episode?
Episode, yeah. Oh, so, they got Dagar and Durak working on the chain gang. And, Zorazal sends her other self, or other warrior self.
She projects like a mystical, not her self, to the work site.
And gets the two guys to go and see her. Because she
thinks they're both hunks, and she wants them to be her boy toys.
But her vizier...
Not kidding, either.
Yeah.
Her vizier, yeah.
Is that vizier? Really?
Yeah, he's not visitor.
Vizier. I thought he always saw his vizier. I don't know.
The Grand Vizier.
Vizier. Okay. Yeah. Oh, the things you know.
He's the major domo advisory type.
Morgan. So he is jealous because he helped create Zorazal to make her the evil goddess she is today. And so Dagar is not having anything. Durak is kind of interested in her.
But Dagar has a woman. He's like, I got Graylin. Take a hike, sister.
Right.
So, yeah.
So he makes Durak fall in love with the vizier, and fall in love with Zorazal, and so he fights Dagar, and it's a huge battle because they're both good and they're both equal.
Yeah.
And let's see. So Dagar is taken to a dungeon, and a dank-smelling dungeon.
Is there any other kind?
Yeah. Hey, I want to go to the sweet-smelling one. So, with the airy room and the view outside. So Durak is being handmaidens of Zorazal, and the handmaidens always have each color hair. There's a blonde, there's a brunette, and there's a redhead. That's the law, I think.
I guess so.
Handmaidens. Oh, but he's having a great time. And they're about to get busy. And here comes Mogra. And Mogra is really mad.
He's jealous.
Yeah, he's super jealous. So she tells Zorazal, you figure out a death for Dagar and make it really cool because everyone's going to be there.
Right.
So, which is odd, because there's a big hole in the middle of the stadium.
Yeah.
And so it's in Dagar. So how can people look at it, at what's going on?
I don't know.
He's in a big hole, and it's about 50 feet down.
Well, guess what? The only people who need to look at it is the comic book reader.
That's
and
true.
To us, it looks cool.
Indeed. Well, why have a hole? I
don't know. Ideas get thrown around. Somebody decided it was a good one. Maybe it wasn't, but it works for this.
So
logistically, you're right. It's dumb.
Yeah. Mogra gets a soldier ant and a snake and makes this huge monster from them.
Yeah, and it's combining like them into two things to make this weird monster, and it looks cool.
Yeah, it kind of is.
And surprise, Dagar has to fight it.
Right.
And he does.
And Durak is just checking out the girl while Dagar is fighting for his life. And now she kisses him, and that's it from Mogar. So he takes away the entrancement of Durak, and he said, "What am I doing? My buddy's getting killed." So he goes and saves Dagar. So,
yeah.
So then Mogra.
Yeah.
I have no idea if I'm.
I can't even. It's too far away for me to see. And all these wizardy types are exactly the same.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want to call him, just do it.
So he helps him to escape because he wants revenge. And so he has projections of Duroc and Dagar.
Uh-huh.
And the army's attacking them while the real Duroc and Dagar escape. So they released the slaves and started a slave army. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. It's very Spartacus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And let's see. Zorazal is really mad. They use projection of Zorazal to free the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a huge battle. It's kind of cool. Mogra, excuse me, destroys a stupid tower.
Yeah.
And he dies. But before he dies, he sends his projection and destroys
the spell that he had cast on Zorazal. He had made... She was a queen ant.
Yeah.
And he had turned her into a person and hoped that she would requite his love or something if he made her this beautiful queen goddess, and she never did.
Yeah, which is I did not see that coming.
No.
Okay. It's kind of cool. So Dagar and Duroc are buddies again. Duroc gets a ship and he takes Dagar back to Graylin.
Yeah.
Well, not bad. It was it could have been very much longer.
This in itself could have been an epic.
I mean, you could have written a 500-page novel on this.
Sure.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Well, yeah. I mean, they could have been enslaved for years, and and then work to overthrow Zorazal. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot going on here that could have been made out of this and wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the editorial mandate of that Gold Key had is, you're rarely going to get to do a 2-issue story, let alone something goes on for a while. It's really they want to have this standalones because their attitude was no one's going to remember, or it's not going to be like somebody picking up issue after issue.
Yeah,
which is the wrong attitude.
I don't know, but Gold Key. If you go into a store, you expect to see Gold Key there. And Gold Key is probably sold in drugstores and all that. It's probably loosey-goosey how often they get there and all that.
Well, right. The old newsstand distribution is you might not get the next issue of a comic, because of just how things go. So I understand that, but their attitude as if their audience is so transitory that it's almost there's no loyalty. Yeah. It's like, why would you bother to put out a series?
Right.
Why would you do it? Why wouldn't you just put out one-shots of just random things?
Yeah.
But
well drawn, though. Pretty cool.
Yeah, Santos is good, and I think given the editorial constraints placed on him, I think Don Glut writes good stuff. So
could have been a lot better.
Yeah. So that's it for this episode. Any stuff? Anything?
And Zorazal appears as she truly is, a hideous queen ant.